You think your will is weak, that you can never stay consistent, that discipline belongs to other people. But what if weakness is not your identity, only your method? Napoleon Hill uncovered a formula that turns fragile willpower into unstoppable drive. The truth is, motivation will always fade. Willpower alone will always break. But discipline, when built the right way, can make quitting impossible. And today, you are going to see how the formula works step by step. You think you are weak because your willpower keeps breaking. You tell yourself you lack discipline, that you are lazy, that you cannot stick with anything. But here is the truth. Weak will is not permanent. Napoleon Hill discovered a formula that transforms fragile intention into unstoppable drive. This formula is not hidden in motivation videos or empty promises. It is buried in daily choices, in small rituals, in the way you design your identity. Think about all the times you said you would change. You started strong, full of energy, only to collapse days later. You believed the collapse proved you were broken. But what if that was not weakness? What if it was simply the wrong method? Hill studied the greatest achievers of his time and found that willpower was never the fuel. Drive was built through systems. Persistence was engineered, not hoped for. That is why ordinary people with weak beginnings became unstoppable. Imagine two lives. The first is ruled by feelings. On good days you act. On bad days you quit. The second is ruled by formula. Habits replace feelings, rituals replace hesitation, identity replaces doubt. The first life cycles endlessly. The second life compounds endlessly. Which one do you want? Here is how you begin. Step 1. Stop calling yourself weak. Step 2. Accept that willpower alone will never carry you. Step 3. Learn the formula Hill uncovered. Drive is not born. It is built. And you will build it piece by piece until quitting no longer exists in your vocabulary. Macro-vision says some people are born disciplined and others are not. Micro-reality says discipline is a formula. Napoleon Hill wrote about definiteness of purpose, persistence, and organized action. These are not traits. They are codes. Codes can be installed. The moment you install them, your weakness starts to transform into unstoppable drive. Today is the day you stop blaming yourself and start using the formula. Weak will does not define you. Systems do. Habits do. Identity does. And when you apply Hill's formula, your drive will not only rise, it will become unshakable. You fail because you still believe willpower is enough. You think if you try harder, push longer, grit your teeth tighter, you will finally win. But Hill proved this wrong. Willpower is like a match. It lights quickly but burns out fast. If you build your future on matches, you will always sit in darkness once the flame dies. The strongest people are not those who can burn a match the longest. They are the ones who stop relying on matches and start building fires. Think about your cycle. You decide to wake early. For a week you fight the alarm, you force yourself up, you push with raw will. Then one bad night comes. One morning you sleep in. The streak breaks and your will crumbles. Or you decide to eat clean. For 10 days you resist temptation. Then one stressful evening arrives. You give in once, and the habit dies. The failure was not proof of weakness. It was proof of a broken strategy. You used matches instead of firewood. Napoleon Hill watched the same cycle in men who wanted success but never reached it. They relied on bursts of will. He asked why some people with no special strength kept going anyway. The answer became the first piece of his formula, definiteness of purpose. When your purpose is clear, it gives direction. When your direction is written down, it becomes stronger than feelings. Purpose is the wood that sustains fire long after sparks fade. Picture two people climbing a mountain. The first carries no map, only willpower. He charges upward, but when fog comes, he turns back. The second carries a map, a clear purpose. The fog arrives, but he knows the summit lies ahead, and he keeps climbing. Who finishes? The one with purpose, not the one with more grit. That is why Hill wrote that definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. Here is how you apply it. Step 1. Write down what you want with absolute clarity. Do not say I want to be healthier. Say I will run 3 times a week for 30 minutes. Do not say I want success. Say I will build a business that earns this much by this date. Step 2. Place this purpose where you can see it daily. Step 3. Use it to cut away distractions. Every action must serve the purpose. Step 4. Let purpose, not mood, be your compass. Macro vision paints willpower as the key. Micro reality shows willpower as fragile fuel. Purpose outlives feelings. It keeps you moving when matches burn out. Napoleon Hill built his philosophy on this cornerstone. Weak will does not stop you when purpose is stronger. That is the first transformation in the formula. So here is your second secret. Do not trust willpower. Trust purpose. Write it. See it. Serve it. When purpose becomes your map, your drive stops collapsing. You no longer burn out. You build momentum. You fail because you set the entry point too high. You decide to run 5 miles on day 1. You try to read 50 pages a day. You commit to a massive new project overnight. The first day feels strong, but by the third, fatigue hits, resistance grows, and the habit collapses. You think this means you are weak. It does not. It means you are fighting the wrong battle. Napoleon Hill understood that persistence is not built in leaps. It is built in steps. The formula works only when you shrink action until it cannot be resisted. Think about your own history. How many times did you stop because you could not maintain intensity? You promised yourself you would write 1,000 words a day. You made it a week, then missed once and quit. You vowed to wake up at 5 a.m. daily. You did it for 3 days, then broke the streak and gave up. The issue was not your identity. It was your scale. You tried to climb the mountain in one bound. Hill taught that mountains fall to steady steps, not giant leaps. Picture 2 men cutting wood. The first swings furiously for an hour, then collapses exhausted and never returns. The second swings once a day, every day. Slowly, the pile grows higher. Who ends up with more wood? Always the second. Action repeated is stronger than effort burned out. Your habits must be designed this way. The smallest version completed daily beats the perfect version abandoned after a week. Here is how you apply it. Step 1. Take one habit you want to lock in and cut it to the smallest version possible. Instead of an hour workout, do 5 minutes. Instead of 50 pages, read 1. Instead of 1,000 words, write 1 sentence. Step 2. Commit to that version without excuse. Step 3. Protect the chain. Completion matters more than size. Step 4. Once the chain is strong, expand naturally. Growth will follow momentum. Think about water carving stone. One drop looks meaningless. But drop after drop, day after day, the stone is reshaped. That is how persistence is born. Hill wrote that persistence was the key that turned dreams into reality. That key was forged by repetition, not explosion. If you want unstoppable drive, you must accept that small daily actions are the true switch. Macro vision tells you big efforts create results. Micro reality shows you small consistent efforts compound into massive results. Weak will cannot carry giant leaps, but it can carry small steps. Those steps, repeated, transform weakness into strength. Hill's formula begins here. You shrink the habit until it fits any day, then you repeat until it becomes identity. So here is your third secret. Reduce the entry. Start so small you cannot fail. Protect the chain. Let consistency, not intensity, shape you. Napoleon Hill saw greatness not in explosions but in steady persistence. Follow that path, and your week will start to harden into unstoppable drive. You fail because you try to fight in the wrong battlefield. You think discipline is only inside your head, a private war of strength against weakness. But Napoleon Hill uncovered a deeper truth. Your environment shapes you more than your will. You can push with all your force, but if your surroundings pull you in the opposite direction, you will lose. If your environment points forward, you barely need force at all. Look at your daily life. You want to focus, yet your desk is covered in clutter. You want to learn, yet your phone blows with endless distractions. You want to eat clean, yet your kitchen is stocked with junk. You fight every day as if weakness is your fault. But the real enemy is not inside you. It is around you. Hill knew this, and that is why he emphasized creating conditions that supported definiteness of purpose. He removed temptations, surrounded himself with influences that demanded persistence, and built an atmosphere where quitting felt unnatural. Picture two writers. One sits down with a phone buzzing beside him, notifications flashing, noise outside the door. His will may be strong, but every minute he loses focus. The other clears his desk, silences his phone, closes the door. The space itself tells him to work. Which one will finish the book? Not the stronger-willed, but the one with the stronger environment. Here is how you apply it. Step 1. Remove the triggers that pull you off course. Put the phone in another room. Hide the snacks. Close the tabs. Step 2. Add triggers that point you to action. Lay out your shoes before bed. Place your book on the pillow. Keep your notebook on the desk. Step 3. Audit your environment weekly. Ask, does this space make discipline easy or quitting easy? Then adjust until the answer is clear. Step 4. Let your environment carry the weight so your willpower does not need to. Think about a river. Water always flows downhill. It does not fight. It follows the easiest path. Your brain does the same. If quitting is the easy flow, you will drift there. If persistence is the easy flow, you will follow that. Hill tilted his life so persistence became the downhill path. He designed surroundings that made success feel natural. That is not weakness. That is strategy. Macro vision says the strong fight temptation with willpower. Micro reality shows the wise remove temptation altogether. The most disciplined people are not necessarily stronger inside. They are smarter outside. They set up an environment where persistence becomes automatic. So here is your fourth secret. Stop fighting uphill with weak will. Tilt the battlefield. Remove temptations. Install triggers. Audit your space. Shape your surroundings until they pull you into discipline. Napoleon Hill mastered this, and so can you. When your environment fights for you, your week will transforms into unstoppable drive. You quit because you wait for the right feeling before you act. You tell yourself you need to feel motivated, confident, or inspired first. But that is the wrong sequence. Napoleon Hill made it clear. Feelings do not lead to action. Action creates feelings. Drive is born the moment you move, not the moment you think about moving. If you keep waiting for the spark, you will wait forever. Think about your own experience. You planned to go for a run but told yourself you would start when you felt ready. The feeling never came, and the run never happened. Or you sat down to write, but the inspiration was not there, so you walked away. On the rare day when you forced yourself to start anyway, what happened? Within minutes your energy rose. The clarity came. The feeling appeared. That is not a coincidence. That is law. Action awakens emotion. Waiting kills it. Picture two musicians. The first waits for inspiration. Some days he practices, most days he does not. The second practices every day at the same hour. The first few notes feel dull, but soon the music flows. Who becomes the master? Always the second. Why? Because he understood the secret. Start, and feelings will follow. Here is how you apply it. Step 1. Choose a habit and shrink it to a 2-minute version. Step 2. Begin that version daily, no matter how you feel. Write 1 line, do 1 push-up, read 1 page. Step 3. Let the small action spark momentum. Step 4. Train your brain to link action first, emotion second. Over time, you will stop waiting and start moving. Think about fire. You do not wait for warmth before you strike the match. You strike first, and the warmth comes after. This is the same with discipline. You must strike with action. The warmth of motivation arrives later. Hill built his career not by waiting for energy but by generating it. Every page he wrote, every step he took, was proof that motion creates emotion. Macro vision tells you to wait for the right state of mind. Micro reality shows the state of mind is built by action. The strongest people are not those who always feel ready. They are the ones who act despite not feeling ready. That act produces readiness. So here is your 5th secret. Stop waiting to feel like it. Act first. Shrink the step. Begin now. Let feelings follow your movement. Napoleon Hill transformed weak will into drive by refusing to wait. He acted, and emotion came after. If you live by that formula, quitting will no longer control you. Action will. You quit because every day you let hesitation creep in. You wake up and ask yourself, should I do it today? You argue with yourself, maybe I will, maybe I will not. That moment of negotiation kills momentum. Napoleon Hill uncovered a way to erase that debate. The solution is ritual. Ritual is a preloaded sequence that tells your brain what comes next. When you ritualize action, you no longer ask if. You simply follow the rhythm. Think about your mornings. Some days you scroll your phone, some days you eat, some days you rush. Each start is different, and so your discipline wobbles. But imagine a morning that always begins the same. You drink a glass of water, stretch for 2 minutes, write 1 line in your notebook. That sequence locks your mind into motion before excuses appear. Ritual creates rhythm, and rhythm eliminates debate. Picture a professional athlete. He does not wonder if he should warm up. He follows the same steps every time. Tie shoes, stretch, jog, drill. The body knows the order. The mind stops resisting. Discipline becomes automatic. Hill used the same method. His writing sessions always began with the same setup. His study always started the same way. By repeating rituals, he erased hesitation. Here is how you apply it. Step 1. Pick 1 habit you want to anchor. Step 2. Build a 3-step ritual before it. For example, if you want to write, boil tea, clear your desk, open the notebook. Step 3. Repeat this sequence every time. Step 4. Let the ritual itself become the trigger. Soon the brain no longer argues. The action becomes natural. Think about soldiers before battle. They check equipment, line up, prepare in order. These rituals are not wasted time. They are switches that move them into state. Your habits require the same. Ritual is the bridge from thought to action. Hill knew that persistence was fragile if left to chance. Ritual made it solid. Macro vision paints discipline as raw power. Micro reality shows discipline as rhythm repeated daily. You do not need to wrestle yourself every morning. You need to ritualize the start. Once the first step is automatic, the rest will follow without resistance. So here is your 6th secret. Build rituals. Create rhythm. Eliminate debate. Anchor your habits in small repeated sequences. Napoleon Hill mastered persistence by turning rituals into identity. Do the same, and hesitation will vanish. Weak will cannot survive in ritual. Only drive can. You quit because you still see habits as something you do, not as someone you are. You treat discipline like a task that can be checked off or skipped. But Napoleon Hill revealed the deeper code. Drive becomes unstoppable when it fuses with identity. A task can be dropped. An identity cannot. When you move from saying I try to saying I am, you remove the back door. Quitting stops being an option because it would mean betraying yourself. Think about your language. You said I am trying to wake up early. You said I want to be more consistent. You said I hope to stay focused. All of these phrases give you a way out. They describe wishes, not reality. And wishes collapse under pressure. Now compare it to identity. I am someone who rises early. I am consistent. I am disciplined. These words do not leave room for debate. They lock you in. The difference is not grammar. The difference is destiny. Picture two people at a dinner table. The first says I cannot eat that because I am on a diet. The second says I do not eat that because I am healthy. The first sounds temporary. The second sounds permanent. The first is a task. The second is identity. Which one lasts longer? Always the second. Habits tied to identity do not bend. They become self-expression. Here is how you apply it. Step 1. Choose one identity you want to embody. Write it in present tense. Begin with I am. Step 2. Link every small action to that identity. One workout proves I am an athlete. One page proves I am a writer. One disciplined choice proves I am consistent. Step 3. Eliminate language that contradicts it. Never say I am lazy. Never say I cannot. Step 4. Defend the identity as if it were your name. You do not argue with your name. You must not argue with your chosen identity. Think about a soldier. He does not wake up saying I will try to serve. He wakes up saying I am a soldier. That identity drives his behavior whether he feels like it or not. Napoleon Hill lived the same way. He did not say I will try to persist. He declared persistence as part of who he was. That declaration shaped his actions and locked his discipline into place. Macro-vision says discipline is about tasks and effort. Micro-reality shows discipline is about identity and definition. When you see habits as external, you can drop them. When you see them as internal, you cannot. That is the final lock. That is the hidden code. So here is your 7th secret. Stop saying I try. Start saying I am. Tie habits to identity. Let every action prove it. Defend it like your own name. Napoleon Hill transformed weak will into unstoppable drive because he lived as persistence itself. When you take on identity, quitting no longer makes sense. You do not practice discipline. You become it. You quit because your progress is invisible. You work hard, but you see no proof, so your mind whispers it is pointless. Invisible effort feels like failure even when it is not. Napoleon Hill understood this trap. He wrote that what you measure becomes real. Tracking is not decoration. Tracking is transformation. It turns discipline from a vague feeling into undeniable evidence. When you can see proof, your drive strengthens. Think about the times you gave up. You trained for 2 weeks but saw no change in the mirror, so you stopped. You wrote for a month but your book still looked unfinished, so you abandoned it. You saved money for months but the account looked small, so you quit. The truth is not that progress was missing. The truth is that you failed to track it. You allowed your mind to forget the wins that were happening every day. Picture 2 runners. Both train daily. One keeps no record. After a month he feels stuck, assumes nothing has changed, and quits. The other logs each run in a notebook. When doubt comes, he looks back and sees a record of miles stacked together. That proof fuels him to continue. Same training, different result. The difference is tracking. Here is how you apply it. Step 1. Choose the habit you want to lock. Step 2. Create a simple way to track it. A calendar, a notebook, or a chart. Step 3. Record completion every time, no matter how small. Step 4. Review the record daily. Protect the chain. Do not let gaps grow. That chain becomes visible evidence that your weak will is transforming into drive. Think about builders raising a wall. If they never step back, they see only bricks. They feel they are not progressing. But when they pause and look at the wall, they see height rising every day. That sight fuels persistence. Hill filled his journals and planners with notes, actions, and goals. Those notes became his fuel. He did not trust memory. He trusted proof. Macro vision tells you progress should be obvious. Micro reality shows progress is slow and subtle, only clear when measured. If you do not track, quitting feels easy. If you do track, quitting feels like erasing your own history. And that, your mind will resist. So here is your 8th secret. Track everything. Build visible proof. Review it daily. Protect the chain. Napoleon Hill's formula turned invisible work into visible progress, and that proof multiplied persistence. Do the same, and weak will no longer holds power over you. Evidence will. And evidence is unbreakable. You quit because you dismiss the small wins. You think only giant victories matter, so when progress feels tiny you call it failure. That mindset kills discipline. Napoleon Hill uncovered a different truth. Drive grows when you recognize and stack micro wins. Every small victory is proof that momentum is alive. Ignore them and you starve persistence. Honor them and you build unstoppable force. Think about your patterns. You worked out for a week but saw no major transformation, so you quit. You saved money for a month but the number looked small, so you stopped. You wrote a few pages but the book looked incomplete, so you gave up. Every time you erased the meaning of small wins, you erased your own drive. Hill never dismissed small progress. He celebrated it, because he knew each win was a seed. Seeds grow into forests when planted daily. Picture 2 climbers. The first stares only at the distant summit. Each step feels pointless because the peak still looks far away. He loses faith and quits halfway. The second marks every milestone. Every 100 meters he recognizes his progress. That recognition fuels his spirit. Step by step he reaches the summit. Same climb, same strength, different outcome. The difference is attention to small wins. Here is how you apply it. Step 1. Define what a small win looks like for your habit. 1 page written, 1 workout completed, 1 day logged. Step 2. Record and celebrate each win. Step 3. Review your growing stack often to fuel momentum. Step 4. Let the pride from small victories feed your persistence when motivation fades. Think about a child learning to walk. Parents cheer at every step, even when the child falls right after. That encouragement keeps the child going. Imagine if they said 1 step is not enough, come back when you can run. The child would give up. You make the same mistake with your own habits. You ignore the steps and demand the sprint. Hill knew better. He built momentum by stacking each small victory into proof of persistence. Macro vision paints discipline as chasing huge results. Micro reality shows discipline is built on honoring micro wins. Your brain is wired to crave recognition. If you refuse to feed it, quitting feels natural. If you celebrate small progress, quitting feels like betrayal. That simple shift multiplies drive. So here is your 9th secret. Stop ignoring the inches. Define micro wins. Track them. Celebrate them. Stack them. Napoleon Hill turned weak will into unstoppable persistence by recognizing progress in every step. You can do the same. Each small win is not trivial. It is momentum. And momentum is the fuel of drive. You quit because you worship perfection. You believe the only way forward is flawless execution. The first time you miss a day, you call yourself a failure. The first time you slip, you throw the whole plan away. That obsession makes habits fragile. Napoleon Hill taught the opposite. True drive is not perfection. True drive is resilience. The ability to recover faster than you fall is the real strength. Think about your own record. You started a routine, missed one day, and gave up completely. You broke a diet once and abandoned it for months. You skipped one workout and then vanished from the gym. Every time you made a mistake, you turned it into surrender. The mistake was not the end. Your reaction was. Hill studied the greatest successes of his time and found a single pattern. They all failed. But they did not stay down. They bounced back. That resilience hardened into persistence. Picture two runners in a race. Both stumble. One sits on the track, ashamed, and watches the others pass. The other jumps back up and keeps moving. Who reaches the finish? Always the second. Success does not belong to the flawless. It belongs to the resilient. Here is how you apply it. Step 1. Expect setbacks. Do not be shocked when you slip. Step 2. Make a rule, never miss twice in a row. Step 3. When you fail, return immediately with a smaller version of the habit. If you skipped a full workout, do 10 push-ups. If you broke a diet, return to a clean meal next time. Step 4. Celebrate the comeback as proof of strength, not as weakness. Recovery is the real victory. Think about steel. It is forged in fire, bent and hammered. The stress does not destroy it. The stress strengthens it. Resilience works the same way. Hill built his legacy not because he avoided failure but because he turned every failure into another strike of the hammer. Each comeback made him stronger. Macro vision says success comes from never falling. Micro reality shows success comes from always rising. Perfection is brittle. Resilience is unbreakable. The world does not need you to be flawless. It needs you to recover without delay. So here is your 10th secret. Stop chasing perfection. Train resilience. Never miss twice. Return faster than you fall. Napoleon Hill's formula turned weak will into unstoppable drive because it made failure powerless. When resilience is trained, no mistake can end you. You will always rise. And that is the heart of persistence. You quit because your promises live only in silence. Alone, your words carry little weight. You say you will wake early, but no one notices when you fail. You say you will write, but no one cares when you skip. Alone, breaking a promise feels invisible. Napoleon Hill exposed a powerful multiplier for persistence. He called it the mastermind principle. Surround yourself with others who know your commitments, and your discipline multiplies. Accountability makes quitting costly. Think about the last time you set a goal. You kept it private. You quit quietly. There was no consequence. But imagine declaring it to a partner, a group, or a mentor. Suddenly failure is not private. Suddenly breaking your word carries shame, disappointment, or loss of trust. That weight is uncomfortable, but it is also powerful. Hill knew that humans fight harder when their reputation is on the line. Weak will can break alone. It hardens when witnessed. Picture two students preparing for an exam. The first studies in secret. When tired, he stops, because no one will know. The second forms a pact with a friend. They check in daily. When tired, he studies anyway, because quitting means breaking trust. Same effort, different outcome. Accountability is the difference. Here is how you apply it. Step 1. Share one clear habit goal with a trusted ally. Step 2. Set a check-in schedule, daily or weekly. Step 3. Report progress honestly, without excuses. Step 4. Allow the weight of someone else's awareness to strengthen your persistence. Think about athletes on a team. They may not feel like training, but their teammates depend on them. That dependence fuels consistency. Hill's mastermind groups worked the same way. They provided support, ideas, and most importantly, accountability. His drive was not maintained in isolation. It was reinforced by connection. Macro vision says discipline is a lonely fight. Micro reality shows discipline thrives in community. Your will can be weak, but when tied to accountability, it becomes strong. Alone, failure feels private. Together, failure feels heavy. That heaviness keeps you moving. So here is your 11th secret. Stop hiding your goals. Declare them. Build accountability. Allow others to witness your discipline. Napoleon Hill's formula multiplied persistence with the mastermind principle. If you adopt the same, your week will transform under pressure. Accountability will not let you quit. You quit because you see discipline as a prison. You think it steals freedom, steals comfort, steals joy. That lie keeps you trapped in weakness. Napoleon Hill revealed the truth. Discipline is not chains. Discipline is freedom. Every short-term restraint you choose today buys you long-term liberty tomorrow. The undisciplined feel free in the moment, but later they are trapped by debt, regret, and wasted years. The disciplined feel constrained in the moment, but later they move with power, choice, and control. Think about your own past. You refused to save because it felt restrictive, and now you feel trapped by bills. You skipped exercise because it felt hard, and now you feel trapped by weakness. You ignored learning because it felt boring, and now you feel trapped by lost opportunities. The so-called freedom you chose yesterday became the cage you live in today. Hill flipped this equation. He chose discipline now to own freedom later. That trade made him unstoppable. Picture two farmers. One refuses to plant because he wants to enjoy rest today. He feels free in the moment, but months later he starves. The other plants diligently, sacrificing comfort for a short while. Months later he eats freely, while the first begs. The disciplined farmer looks restricted at first, but in the end he is the only one free. Habits work the same way. Short-term discomfort becomes long-term power. Here is how you apply it. Step 1. Identify one area of your life where lack of discipline has cost you freedom. Step 2. Write the opposite habit that would create liberty. Step 3. Anchor that habit to ritual and practice it daily. Step 4. Every time you feel resistance, remind yourself, this is not loss. This is purchase. I am buying freedom with discipline. Think about a pilot. The cockpit is full of checklists and rules. To outsiders it looks restrictive. But to the pilot, those rules are the foundation of control. Without them, flight is chaos and danger. With them, he commands the skies. Discipline is the checklist of life. To outsiders it looks like limits. To the one who practices it, it is ultimate control. Macro vision paints discipline as a cage. Micro reality shows discipline as liberation. Weak will seeks freedom now and finds chains later. Strong will accepts discipline now and gains wings later. So here is your 12th secret. Reframe discipline. Do not call it restriction. Call it freedom. See every disciplined act as an investment that multiplies your options tomorrow. Napoleon Hill's formula transformed weakness into drive because it taught that freedom is not given. It is earned through discipline. Live by that, and you will never see discipline as a cage again. You will see it as wings. You quit because you still think discipline is something you do instead of something you are. As long as you see it as an external practice, you will always leave room for escape. Napoleon Hill revealed the final lock. Drive becomes unstoppable only when discipline fuses with identity. It is not about acting disciplined. It is about being disciplined. When discipline becomes your name, your nature, your very definition, quitting no longer makes sense. Think about the words you use. I am trying. I hope I can. I want to be. These words leave cracks in the wall. Cracks let weakness in. Now imagine saying I am disciplined. I am persistent. I am consistent. These words close the cracks. They seal the wall. Identity is a fortress. Once you declare it, every action either defends it or betrays it. And betrayal of identity feels unbearable. That is why habits tied to identity last. Picture two writers. The first says I want to write a book. Writing is an external task. When he misses a day, it feels acceptable. The second says I am a writer. Writing is who he is. When he misses a day, it feels like self-betrayal. Which one finishes the book? Always the second. Because tasks can be postponed. Identities cannot. Here is how you apply it. Step 1. Choose the identity you want to embody. Write it in present tense beginning with I am. Step 2. Link every action, no matter how small, to that identity. One page proves I am a writer. One workout proves I am an athlete. One discipline choice proves I am consistent. Step 3. Remove words that weaken identity. Never say I am lazy. Never say I cannot. Step 4. Defend your chosen identity as you would defend your own name. Think about why people guard their family names so fiercely. It is who they are. Discipline must be treated with the same seriousness. Napoleon Hill lived this way. He did not practice persistence as a tool. He declared persistence as his nature. That declaration shaped every choice and made his drive permanent. His formula was never about temporary effort. It was about permanent identity. Macro-vision says discipline is a tool you pick up. Micro-reality shows discipline is the person you become. When you live by this, your weak will dissolves. Unstoppable drive takes its place. Quitting stops being a decision. It becomes unthinkable. So here is your 13th and final secret. Stop chasing discipline as a practice. Become discipline as an identity. Stop saying I try. Start saying I am. Napoleon Hill's formula ends here. Weak will is not permanent. Drive is not reserved for the chosen few. When you fuse discipline into identity, you do not just act disciplined. You are disciplined. And when that shift happens, quitting is no longer in your language. You are the formula. You are the drive. Your will was never broken. It was simply untrained. Weakness was never your destiny. It was only the starting point. Napoleon Hill showed that drive is not a gift but a formula, a system you can build, repeat, and live by. So the question is no longer, do you have what it takes? The real question is, will you use the formula? If you are ready to stop collapsing every time motivation fades, if you are ready to trade weakness for drive, then start now. Choose one step. One habit. One declaration of identity. Begin today and watch weakness dissolve into power. Backhand index pointing right. Subscribe, share this message, and commit to building unstoppable drive. Your future self will thank you for not waiting another day.